Yeah, welcome back to another episode of the Format Podcast, Sunday night NFL wrap-up live. Yes. So as you can see, it's myself and the Transformer, and we're here to give you a quick run-through of all the games from Thursday all the way up until the one that just finished, the Bills and the 49ers. And we're going to do that for you. And
Actually, Wednesday, all the way up until
Wednesday?
now.
Was it Wednesday?
Yeah, damn. The Chiefs games was Wednesday.
No, the Chiefs game was Friday.
Was it Friday? Or was it Wednesday?
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah. So how was your Thanksgiving, brother?
It was good, man. Blessed to be amongst my family, friends.
Of course.
The whole kumbaya. Yeah, it was great, bro. How about yours?
Man, it was cool, man. A little, quiet here at the house. Nothing too big, man, but it was good. Again, blessed, thankful.
Absolutely, bro. Thanksgiving, yes, thankful. Two words that go together.
Yes, sir. All right, before we get into it, and we'll probably take a couple minutes, see if we get some more people in the chat. But before we do that, I'm going to hit the spiel. You know what time it is. If you're here on YouTube and you haven't already, please make sure you go ahead, click that like, that subscribe, that notification bell. Make sure you're kept up to date whenever we drop new content on the channel. If you want the audio-only version of the podcast, open up your audio podcast platform, hit the search bar, type in The Format Podcast, and we should come right up. If you're enjoying the content, make sure you give us that like, that 5-star review, and drop a comment. All that stuff helps us rise in the algorithm, helps us find more sports fans, helps more sports fans find us. And finally, make sure you write it down, put it in your phone, set an alarm, do whatever you got to do to remember. Saturday nights at 7 p.m. we are live here on the Format Podcast, and we'll give you the opportunity to call in, talk to us, get at me. I love it. I can't wait. All right, man. Can't wait. Bart Scott, amen, right there. All right, you want to go ahead and get started?
Yes, sir. All right, so
we just
got done with the weekly recap, all of the games with the exception of Monday. You guys know we do this on Sunday nights, so Monday night game will be addressed on Wednesday when we get back live here on the Format Podcast. But we're going to go ahead and kick things off with the game that just ended. As you know, we always start off with the last game that was played, and then we fast forward time, rewind time, all the way back to the previous games that were played before. All right. So just in case you guys hop in late, like, wait a minute, you guys skipped over a game. Nah, we're starting off with this one because it's fresh on the brain. The Buffalo Bills in a snowy Sunday night with the temperature, I believe it was 20 degrees with a flurry of snowflakes coming down to cover the football field. A whole blizzard came through. And Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills got it done in excellent fashion, MVP fashion. And the San Francisco 49ers didn't fall to 5-7. So, Bruce, man, what do you think about this game right here, man?
So first, man, watching this, am I the only one that it kind of took us back to when we were kids and we got some snow, man? We was out there playing snow football. I always get that feeling when I watch these games, man. It's beautiful.
Absolutely.
Absolutely,
man. Honestly, bro, I actually wanted to be there. Even as a fan, just like, when the Buffalo Bills score a touchdown and all the snowballs and everything goes up in the air, everybody's tossing snow, folks doing snow angels in the end zone. It just looked exciting, man. It looked like something past football. Like those guys were just out there having fun.
That's right. Having fun. You know all about that being a Packers guy. You know what I'm saying? That's the type of thing you see at Lambeau as well, man. So, it's beautiful, man. That's how it should be in the winter. But anyway, man, I tell you what, two things I noticed here, man. The Bills just chugging along, 10-2. Nobody's even talking about them. Everybody's talking about the Steelers. Everybody's talking about the Chiefs, of course. They're the champs. And people are asking what's going on with the Ravens, and we'll get to them later. But no one's even talking about the Bills. They're just flying under the radar quietly. Second best team in the conference, just doing their work. And they ran for 220 in the snow today. Obviously, when you get a snow game, you're more often going to see a lot of running plays on the ground. So they had a great deal of success there, ran for 220 against the 49ers. And I believe Josh Allen is probably now the front runner for MVP. Very quietly, but he's doing it. He's not making the mistakes that he's made in previous years. He's just he's out here balling, and he's doing his thing. And we know in previous seasons we've continually seen him as the odds-on favorite to win the MVP. And the league has favorites, right? They want him to win the MVP, but it looks like he's getting closer and closer to doing it. Now you could make the Saquon argument, and we'll talk about him later, but he's a running back, so it's a lot more difficult unless he breaks a record. That's probably not going to happen. But yeah, so Buffalo is just doing their thing. On the flip side of this, man, really concerned about San Francisco, and I think they may not even make the playoffs this year. Now they're still in contention if they can figure out a way to win their division, because their division is still really tight. So if they can do that, they can still get into the playoffs, man. But they've been decimated by injury this year, and they've taken a huge step back, and it's going to be very interesting to see what happens going forward. Not necessarily a breakdown of this game, but when they have to pay Brock Purdy after this season, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, the Bills, man, just clearly, I think the second or third best team in football, and no one's even talking. Well, they're a top 4 team in football, right? Obviously, the Chiefs, the Bills, the Lions, and the damn Eagles. Those are the top 4 teams. And Buffalo, like I said, no one's talking about them. They're just quietly rolling along, playing their game, and they're probably going to have that second seed in the AFC, man. Really good football team and an easy win, and I know they feel great about the position they're in right now.
No, absolutely, man. I definitely agree. Bills, quiet, like you said, quiet as kept, 10-2. Like, you wouldn't, if you didn't look at the standings, you'd be like, okay, man, they're probably 8-6 or 8-5, doing decent enough to just skate along. But they're 10-2. They're playing lights out. Josh Allen is not turning over the football. That was one of his bugaboos over the last couple of seasons. Just forcing the ball in directions that they shouldn't go, aka the Brett Favre way. Just letting everything fly. Just giving anybody a chance to catch the ball, not even just your receiver, but possibly the corner or safety that is out there. But today he looked great, man. Even in the snow, a great percentage, 13 out of 17, 148. Doesn't look like much, but once you look at the game, 2 touchdowns, and he also had a rushing touchdown off a miraculous play. Like, that play right there just let me know, like, San Fran, just go ahead and pack it up and go home. It was a lateral pass back to him after he threw the pass. I believe it was Sakir. No, not Sakir.
Yeah. I can't remember who got it to him, but yeah, when he ran that in and stuck it out over the goal line, that was pretty impressive.
Exactly, man. That was just one of those players where just like everything is clicking. They're at home court, home field, in the snow, and it was like they couldn't stumble or slip, but San Fran was stumbling and slipping all over the place.
That's right.
As we know, San Fran is a West Coast team. They're not used to snow at all. Used to that heat, used to warm weather. But Buffalo, man, they came ready. They obviously came ready. San Fran, they did what they could on the ground. 153. That's nothing bad to scoff at. No. Christian McCaffrey did leave with a knee injury. I was a little upset about that.
Just got the notification that might be season-ending PCL injury, according to Coach Kyle.
Because you never see a player without contact stop and slide on his own, right? Stop and slide and just get up and like, you know what? I just can't do it anymore, because he was looking very, very good before leaving the game at that point. But that's just another devastating injury. As we know, San Fran are battling a bunch of injuries. Brock Purdy, this was one of his first games back. Obviously, they're down Trent Richardson, and they're down Nick Bosa at the current time. They also down their corner, Lenore. He's out. So you lose Christian McCaffrey. That's a huge, huge blow that you just don't need as you're trying to climb into the standings. Because right now you're 2 games behind the Seattle Seahawks, who are currently sitting at 7-5 in that division. And when you look at the rest of the conference, you're battling it out with the Rams, the Cardinals, and the Bucks to try to get to that 7th spot, which the Commanders currently hold at this moment. So it's going to be tough sledding for them. It's truly going to be tough sledding. They're literally probably going to have to win out. I don't see the Commanders losing 2 or 3 more games this season. But I do see San Fran possibly losing another one, because they do have guys like the Detroit Lions that are also on the schedule as well. So it's going to be tough, man. It's definitely going to be tough for those guys.
I hear you. So quick question before we move on to the next game, man. Do you think this is mostly about injuries, or is maybe there's some indictment on Kyle Shanahan? Maybe he's finally starting to get figured out. Maybe people are thinking that he's not quite the coach that he has been throughout his career as a head coach. And maybe, I wouldn't say it's time for a change. This is first down year, really, but what do you think?
I would say it's a combination of both, right? I mean, obviously, when you lose your big weapons, big key players, Trent Richardson, one of the best linemen in the NFL, possibly in NFL history, you lose your starting running back for 8 games, the first 8 games of the season, and you literally just got him back and you're trying to get things clicking. Then you lose your quarterback for a while with a shoulder injury. That's pretty much going to hamper him on the throwing side of the football. But I don't know. I think it's a combination of both, man, because when you look at some of the games, it's just like it doesn't look like San Fran football. It doesn't truly look like San Fran football. But, you go back and you're like, okay, well, this guy's missing. This guy's missing. This is typically how they run things when this guy's here. But those guys aren't here. So I think it's a combination of both.
Got you. All right. So good stuff.
Yep. All right. Want to move on?
Yeah.
All right. We're going to move on to the Chiefs. So I'll be fast forwarding all the way back to let me take that back. The Chiefs were Friday. So let's go to Thursday. I'm sorry. Let's go to Thanksgiving. I'm going to skip over to the Cowboys edging out the New York Giants at home. They finally get a game at home where they can win 27-20 against Drew Lock and the Giants, man. What's your take on this game?
There's no take, man.
I figured it wasn't either.
Yeah,
wanted to give you an opportunity.
The Giants should be absolutely ashamed they allowed themselves to get beat by the Cowboys, and the Cowboys should be ashamed they had to struggle that badly to beat the Giants, man. 2 bad teams, but it was a division game, so at least it was competitive, but don't care, not impressed. Just 2 teams that we can just move right along from. The Giants.
No, man. No, Michael Parsons said they back, bro.
Who what?
They back. They're here.
We've already done segments about Michael Parsons needing to have his mic cut. So we can't listen to nothing this clown says, man.
No, man, they're back, bro. The Dallas Cowboys are back.
Yeah, you got
They are back. Don't let nobody steer you wrong. All right, Dallas Cowboy fans are so happy to be watching. You're only currently 12th in the NFC, man. It's all up from here.
So they're back after beating the Giants. All right. Well, I guess that's what brings you back. Okay.
Oh, man, nothing to scoff at in this game. Rico Dowdell, I believe, got their first 100-yard game this year, which is unheard of when you talk about the Dallas Cowboys, who are just mostly known for having a solid run game at all points in times throughout their entire franchise history. But obviously, they're on their backup quarterback, who was just struggling against the original backup of the Giants, but the backup of the backup. DeVito was out, so he didn't play in that game, and obviously they made the release of Daniel Jones previously this week, and Drew Lock just did what he could. He actually kind of looked good in the beginning of the football game, but Dallas kind of figured him out, rattled him a little bit, and then they obviously got the win. But nothing else to talk about this game. The Giants are 2-10, the Cowboys are 5-7, trying to make something out of nothing. So we'll just wait for that something to ever happen, which is possibly going to be in 2028, 2029.
Right. Quick Giants note. They look like they're on pace for the number 1 pick in the draft. So you think if they draft Shadur Sanders, or if they want to, Deion Sanders going to block that?
Yeah.
Okay. There you go.
Yeah. I don't think you would want to go to New York. I mean, after what they just did, they just got rid of Saquon Barkley. He's out here looking like an MVP. You sign a Daniel Jones to a 4-year, $35 million a year, and you release him the very next season. Now you're on the hook for that. What do you do from here? I don't know. You got a receiver. I like Malik Neighbors. You got a decent run game. I like Tyrone Tracy.
Yeah,
he's a decent running back. But you're going to need a quarterback. New York Giants have been very, very bad over the last 3-4 decades of drafting a solid quarterback. Granted, Eli Manning is one of those quarterbacks, but
going into
he also had one hell of a defense.
Yeah, that's true.
Hell of a defense. I mean, other than Eli making it to the Super Bowl 2 times to beat Tom Brady, he literally has no career accolades at all.
Was he top
no
10
all pros, no nothing.
Isn't he? No, but he's top 10 in passing yards and passing touchdowns, I believe. So,
yeah, that's cool. But no.
And he's a 2-time Super Bowl MVP. That'd get it done.
He's gonna make the Hall of Fame because he beat a guy named Tom Brady.
Okay, but he won 2 Super Bowls. Aaron Rodgers ain't do that, and I don't think there's anyone who's going to tell you Eli Manning is better than Aaron Rodgers, right?
That's
Nobody's going to tell you that.
Nobody.
There you go.
I don't even think that.
What, though? But Eli
Trent Dilfer's better than him.
Matter of fact, no, he's not. Matter of fact, Aaron Rodgers Aaron Rodgers got beat by Eli in his house in the playoffs. So there's that.
Oh man, we got
But anyway.
drugged. It wasn't even fair. It wasn't even cool, man. That defense just cooked us. They cooked us. But we're not going to talk about the past, man. We're going to move on over. We're still on Thanksgiving, guys. We're going to go into, oh my God, one hell of a fumble for the Chicago Bears. As we know, Matt Eberflus was their coach of the football game. But obviously at the end of this football game, he decided to not be their coach and not have any sort of clock management at all. As the Detroit Lions were almost on the edge of either possibly going into overtime or even having a chance to lose against the Chicago Bears. And they literally took 33 seconds and wasted it all on one play. And the Detroit Lions walk away with a win, 23-20. Bruce, without being bashful, go ahead, bro.
No. So first, let me say this. I'm not a big Caleb guy, but since Shane Waldron has left, and Thomas Jones has been the play caller, who is now the interim head coach of the Bears. Caleb has looked a lot better, right? He definitely has looked improved, a little more calm in the pocket, and he's putting up better numbers, etc. So we know that the guy had the talent. He just needed to be in a position to be able to have success, and that position has to be provided by the organization, by his coaching staff. So shout out Caleb. I'm not a big fan, but he definitely is playing improved football now. Yeah, obviously we know we don't need to go into the Matt Eberflus thing. That thing cost him his job. We know what that is, right?
Absolutely. I'm surprised he didn't get fired at the podium.
Well,
you know you lost your job today, right?
This tells you how bad it is. This is the first time in the Bears history. The Bears are over 100 years old, right? Well, not
113.
They're super old. They're one of the original teams, and this is the first time in their history they've ever fired a coach in season. That tells you how bad it's been, and you know.
Well, that tells you how bad that was, right? Like even pee-wee football, flag football, you would know to call a timeout or something. When you see your quarterback just can't get the line and everybody together, obviously he's a rookie. So I'm not going to point the blame or point the finger at Caleb. He's new to this, right? You're the head coach. You're watching here, looking at the Titantron and looking at the field like, he's going to get it done. Okay, he's going to figure it out. He's going to figure it out. Meanwhile, tick, 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 tick. And then you throw one play that didn't even make sense that cost you another 4 to 5 seconds that literally ended the football game. It just didn't make sense, man. I mean, he obviously got the criticism he definitely deserved because that was just egregious. It was coaching malpractice. It was truly coaching malpractice, and you deserved it. I mean, the Bears organization would just look like buffoons if they even waited. At this point, I'm not waiting to the end of the season. You got to go right now, Bubba. You got to go. You got to go, man. Yeah. Obviously, he lost the locker room with that one. But, you know, we'll see what happens. They also fired the OC earlier this year. Now they fired their head coach. So, obviously, they're just going to be looking at getting a higher draft pick to go back in the draft to add more weapons alongside Caleb Williams. So, we'll definitely see how that's going to go.
Meanwhile, Ryan Day, anybody?
Ryan Day?
Those are some of the rumors.
You got to learn how to beat Michigan first.
Well, he might not get the chance unless Ohio State wins a chip. He's getting fired, man.
Now you know what a name. You know another name I heard.
He's gone. What's up? Don't even say what you're about to say. Oh, okay. Yeah. I've heard that.
Return the matchup. That is Caleb Williams' coach.
Could be. Yeah,
that will be. I honestly, as a Packer fan, we're gonna get to the Packers here in a minute. I would honestly be worried about that a little bit. You know, to see. I mean, obviously, we know Cliff Kingsbury. He's an offensive-minded head coach. Period. You get him back with Caleb Williams, along with weapons of DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, DeAndre Swift, Cole Kmet, and Adunze back there. I think you can obviously. You can clearly say that they'll definitely be better offensively. That's for sure. That's for sure. So, and get you a good DC. I don't think they fired the DC. The DC's still there. But get a good DC that Cliff, can be like, hey, you got that side of the football. You obviously know my expertise. I got Caleb. You handle that over there. So I think that'll be good for him. But we'll see. We'll see when that time comes.
Eagles brother was good, man. Yeah, we're gonna get to that. Impressive win. We're gonna get to that.
Yes, sir.
So let me give you real quick the flip side on that Bears-Lions game, man. We didn't even mention it. The Lions are now 11-1, and that's real. And so what I have to say about that is, was the expression, sometimes it's better be lucky than good.
Yep.
And this time they were lucky, right? The Bears in a division matchup fought them tooth and nail, right? But the good teams always somehow pull out those type of games. And so I think this is just another example of that. Did they get some help along the way based on the ineptitude of the Bears? Absolutely. But guess what? They end up with the W. So, the Lions just continue rolling along. That's 10 in a row. So
Lions are clearly rolling along, and I
yeah.
hate it because guess who they got to play this Thursday?
Oh, that's right.
Moving
I
on over.
can't wait. Oh, I can't wait. I don't even know how I'm gonna pick that. Oh my gosh.
I
Ooh,
mean, you obviously know where I'm gonna go, but
I know.
anyway.
I mean, yeah. We'll talk about that on Wednesday.
We'll talk about it on Wednesday.
Yes,
All
sir.
right, but since we're on that topic of conversation, we're going to move on over to the final game of the Thanksgiving evening.
Yes.
Jordan Love finally got to get his turkey leg. Obviously, last year when they won the game on Thanksgiving, he didn't get his turkey leg. So guess what? Leroy Butler gave him 2 turkey legs, one for last year and one for this year, as they decimate the Miami Dolphins at home 30-17. Man, what do you think about that game?
So the Dolphins came out and played really tough in the second half, but it just keeps getting back to the same thing, man. The Dolphins, oddly enough, for a team that runs the football as well as they do and has a really good run play design, they're not tough. They're not physically tough. They're not mentally tough. And until the only way this is going to go well for them, they have to dominate in the regular season to a point where they can get home field advantage in the playoffs.
Correct.
Because if they got to go anywhere cold, they can't win. They can't.
Nope.
Right? Buffalo, Kansas City, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, Baltimore, Cleveland. You know what I'm saying?
It's over.
New England, anywhere else they have to go in the AFC. Unless maybe it's like Los Angeles or something for the most part, the Denver, anywhere else they have to go in January, they're gonna feel that pain and that cold, and they're not going to be able to deal with it. And I think that's just a bad situation for them to be in. Because, I mean, just think about this, right? Tua, he's a Hawaii cat. So he's born and raised in Hawaii. Then he goes to Alabama. Then he goes to Miami. Like, he's never dealt with cold in any extended amount of time. He didn't play terrible, but it's just not in them guys. They're just not tough enough. And I don't know how you change the culture and build toughness, because Mike McDaniel, while he's great with, drawing up the exotic play designs and all that, he's a good play designer, and he seems to be, a player's coach. I don't think he has the mentality to build a locker room that has toughness. So either you need a new coach or you need some veterans in there that have won and have come from mean type organizations, Pittsburgh, Baltimore, that kind of thing, that can really inject the toughness into that team. But they don't have it. And I don't think they'll ever have it under this head coach. And so it's just going to be what it's going to be. But Jordan Love, a couple of touchdowns, good solid game overall. One thing you don't want, if you are not a fan of the Packers, is for this guy to get rolling, because we know when he gets rolling what he can do. We saw it last year. So there's always that. But yeah, good win, 9-3, not too far behind the Lions. And like you said, going into a very critical Thursday night matchup against a hated division rival.
No, absolutely, man. I think this pushes Tua Tagovailoa to 0-8 when under 45-degree weather.
I believe that's the stat.
0-8 when under 45-degree weather. So was I worried about this football game? Absolutely not. But this is one of those games, as of last week, when we played the San Francisco 49ers, Green Bay got to go in there and not play with their food. And that's exactly what they did. Went up 24-3 early in the first half and literally just, ran the ball methodically, just kept the ball away from them as much as possible. Obviously, Miami in garbage time started making a couple of plays because obviously we're playing soft coverage. So obviously the score is going to look a little bit closer than what it was. But the game was obviously in the bag or in the balance early in the third quarter when Miami couldn't really get anything going. Josh Jacobs is heaven sent for this Green Bay football team. I love that we tend to run the football, even when Josh Jacobs is not having a good night. 19 carries for 43 yards. You're like, oh, man, it's not much. But it's the constant bruising, because guess what? Guys like Chris Brooks, Jaden Reed, Emmanuel Wilson will come in and get you 28, 23, 20 yards on the ground because of Josh Jacobs running the football constantly. So we ended up with 114 yards on the ground, which opens things up for that play action that Jordan Love loves to run after. And we're finally utilizing this tight end. Tucker Kraft should be
I
one
saw
of
that.
the top 10 tight
I
ends in
saw
the
that.
league.
Yeah.
That kid is amazing, right?
Mm-hmm.
He can catch it in the flat. It's not a route that he can't run. And I just love how we just are involving him more and more and more into the offense. When we got guys like Jaden Reed and Christian Watson, when Romeo Dobbs is back, we're obviously going to have him in the saddle. When those guys get back, it just opens up the field and opens up a lot more options for Jordan Love when he's in those situations. So, good win by the Green Bay Packers. Obviously, we're 9-3, and that only puts us at 6th in the conference. Obviously, Minnesota is ahead of us at 10-2, and the Detroit Lions are the divisional leaders right now at 11-1. Man, that's tough.
I think by the end of the year, you guys will pass Minnesota. I do. But anyway.
We could at least tied them today if the Cardinals would have did their job, but we'll get to that game a little bit later. But moving on, we're going to go over into I deleted it. The
Raiders and the Chiefs, the Friday
night game. If you have it pulled up, could you take that away from me? I think I deleted it on accident.
Yeah, absolutely. So Chiefs win 19-17. Another tight game, man. I tell you,
there we go.
These Chiefs, man, they're 6-0 at home. They're 11-1 on the year, and they don't look special, but yet somehow they just keep on winning. They just keep winning. And I tell you what, Aiden O'Connell is not good at all, but this dude probably played the game of his life, at least his NFL life. 23 of 35, 342 touchdowns, no picks. Like, really played a clean game. Las Vegas was able to run for 116 yards. Kansas City rushed for 63 yards. I mean, Aiden O'Connell, if someone had told you before the game, Aiden O'Connell is going to outplay Patrick Mahomes, Las Vegas is going to they're going to outrush Kansas City, right? And I think, they're going to, they're going to kind of tie the turnover battle. But the point is, if you heard all that stuff and then you said, but the Raiders still going to lose by 2, you'd be like, what? But, that's the Raiders. So it's tough. And, you have people talking about the officiating getting involved there, and you're hearing a lot of that. The Chiefs got the referees, the officials in their pockets, so on and so forth. But that tends to be the stuff that you hear when you have a dominant team over a period of time. Now, am I saying that they don't get some calls? They're getting some calls, but I wouldn't go as far as say they got the Chiefs in their pockets. And again, one of those situations where, an outstanding team ekes out a win. Like, we've seen the Chiefs win so many different ways this year.
Man, I'm talking special teams, last minute field goal, last second touchdown, turnover, pick six, block kick. It's been all over the place. And this one, you would think this is one of the games where you're like, oh man, the champs find a way to win the game. No, this is a game where a loser finds a way to lose the game, right? Obviously, at the last play of the football game, Aiden O'Connell was under center, flagging, trying to hurry up and rush the play. The center then gets tapped by the right guard, and obviously he snaps the football slightly early, which causes the fumble and the recovery by the Kansas City Chiefs in a drive where Aiden O'Connell and the Las Vegas Raiders were just looking like they were going to win this football game outright with either a field goal kick, or at least having a couple of shots at the end zone. But obviously that was one of the plays that even Patrick Mahomes was on the sideline like, what just happened?
Yeah.
Did we get it?
Just got away with one.
Wait a minute. We did it again? Again. So, and obviously, man, I mean, you look at it, obviously there was a flag call, and I wanted to address that. Sometimes people need to understand there are rules and there are calls. But when calls are made in the middle of a play, referees tend to let the play unfold. If you look at the play, because everybody's like, it was illegal shift. Obviously, that play should be stopped dead, right? But if you look at when they threw the flag, the play was already in motion. When a play is in motion, the ref will allow the play to go.
That's right.
And keep the flag on the field. However,
sort it out after.
It was a turnover. So since it was a turnover, the play is still going on. The play can still stand if the opposing coach declines the football penalty. That's what happened. Because everybody's like, oh, well, it's an illegal shift. It should have been stopped. The Raiders should still have the ball. Negative. Go back and look at when the flag was actually thrown. When they threw the flag, the ball was already in motion. Everything's in motion. It was an obvious fumble. At that point, the Chiefs can still decline that said penalty and move on, right? The play is not dead because the ball has already been snapped. So just sometimes, folks, I just need you to watch football games and understand how plays go, how calls go, how they can get reversed, and how, the opposing team can dictate whether or not they can accept something, decline something, and where the ball goes, man. It was just one of those cases because I got a lot of that after the football game. It was like, oh, refs got the Chiefs got the refs in their back pocket. I'm like, no, it was obviously a penalty. It was definitely a penalty, pre-snap penalty, but the flag was thrown in the middle of the play. They can let the play go or not, right? Yeah. So, that's what it is. But Kansas City got another one done, 19 to 17. Obviously, they hold the reins in their division, and obviously they're just sitting at the top of the pedestal in the conference, sitting at 11-1. So
that's right.
It's good for them, man. Moving on, we're gonna go over. Now we're back on Sunday, right? So now we're going to get into a couple of close games. There was a lot of good games here this Sunday evening, Sunday afternoon, and then Sunday evening. We're going to start off with the Seahawks edging out what's ever left of Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets.
Aaron Rodgers about to get benched, too.
Aaron Rodgers needs to retire.
I agree.
Aaron Rodgers.
I think his ego probably won't allow that, though.
He's not the same. It's not the same. Nothing's going to be the same. It's just it's ugly. They were up 21, I believe, to 21-7 early in the football game, and obviously got walked down. They went scoreless in the second half with Aaron Rodgers at your quarterback. A pick six by a lineman with Aaron Rodgers at your quarterback. I mean, obviously, it just went from ugly to worse, right? Yeah. It just went from ugly to worse to end up at 3-9. What do you have about this game, brother? I obviously want to get past this so fast.
Right. I'm pretty sure I picked Seattle on this one. But I don't know, man. I feel bad for Devontae Adams. In a way I do, but in another way I don't. Like, he forced his way out of there. He wanted to go to New York, play with his boy, but
exactly,
it's not the same anymore, right? So Aaron Rodgers came, basically upset the whole Jets franchise, thought he was going to do something special, clearly did not and cannot. And I think you're right. I think it's over. And it's unfortunate because most pro athletes, period, don't get to go out on their own terms. Yeah. Everyone doesn't get to be Tom Brady. Everyone's not going to get to be LeBron James or whoever, right? Not even Michael Jordan went out under the most auspicious circumstances. So Aaron Rodgers needs to realize he can't do it anymore like he once could. Although they say the first year back from the Achilles is not the year. It's the following year that you can see. But what's he going to be, 41 next year?
41, 42.
Right. So, he needs to hang it up, man. He needs to hang it up. But he's just it's simply not there anymore. That's all there is to it. Seattle is still fighting. They're 7-5. I believe they lead that division. They got a legitimate chance of winning it. So that's a good football team. Not a great football team, but a good football team. And a football team that, if they're on their game, they can be difficult against anybody they play. So, they got things to tweak, things to clean up, but it is a solid team. Not going to win a championship, not saying that, but a solid team. And so, the Jets, I don't know what they're going to do. Clearly, they're going to need to draft a quarterback as well. Yeah. So that's going to be another interesting situation. May not be enough quarterbacks to go around.
So it's definitely going to be one of those that we're going to have to draft a quarterback situation. Obviously, as a Jets, man, this year starting from last year, all the hype train of, getting Aaron Rodgers, 4-time MVP, Super Bowl champion. You're like, okay, cool. We just saw Tom Brady do this in Tampa Bay, right? And you're like, okay, we got the defense. What did Tom Brady have? He had a defense. Okay, cool. Right. We got weapons. What did Tom Brady have? He had a couple of weapons. Okay, cool. Yeah. We got a running game. What did Tom Brady have? He had a running game. Okay, cool. We're perfect. Obviously, the season ended. Achilles injury ruined the last season, the previous season. Then you get to this season, you're trying to okay, well, let's see if we can at least be relevant, right? At this point, you're not even relevant. You're a laughing stock. You fire your coach, it goes nowhere. You bench your OC, that goes nowhere. Now you're talking about benching the quarterback that you guys just went hell and hot water to go get from Green Bay. bring in all of the weapons that he wanted to, wash his clothes, fold his dirty drawers, all that. You did all of that for him, and now you're 3-9.
Trade to bring in this guy from across country with the Raiders, his former partner in crime. That still isn't working. Yeah,
nothing's working, man. When you got Devontae Adams, Garrett Wilson at your receiving core with Breece Hall and Braylon Allen at your running backs, man, you should at least be 500.
Yeah.
At least 500. It's not like injuries. It's not injuries that's doing them wrong. They're healthy. They've been healthy all year.
Yeah, no doubt. You got enough to be competitive. I agree.
Man, it's just bad, man. I'm just gonna move on before I get frustrated because right now in my mind, Aaron Rodgers is my quarterback and he's playing bad.
He's not your quarterback anymore. He's not the same guy. Don't worry about that.
That guy, he's now about to have more losing seasons than postseason wins since 2017. That's a sad fact. But
I'll take it.
All right, so moving on, we're gonna go over to the rookie of the year. Well, I think that's been locked and settled in the bag for quite some time. But Jaden Daniels goes and cooks the Tennessee Titans 42-19. Even though it's 19, it looks a lot closer than what it was, but it was absolutely a complete blowout early in this football game for the Washington Commanders. What do you think about this game, man?
Yeah, it was ugly earlier. They kind of took their foot off the gas. But you saying rookie of the year, Jaden Daniels had it sewn up for a while. He had it sewn up early. And then he kind of took a step back for 3 or 4 games. And I thought that Bo Nix was really kind of closing that gap on him. But now we're seeing, I think he's gonna grab it again and finish out the year and win the thing. But I think you had 100% right. At one point, what was it, 28-0? And it looked like they were going to run away with the thing. But then, the Titans showed a little bit of pride and tried to compete, but again, just not a good football team. I picked the Commanders in this one as well. When you have a solid football team against a bad football team, you know what the result's going to be.
No, absolutely. I mean, when you run 267 yards on a football team, you should be putting up some numbers, whether it's field goal kicks or whatever the case may be. But obviously, every time the Washington Commanders got in the red zone, they turned into a touchdown. You almost had 2 guys run over 100 yards apiece, and Brian Robinson Jr. and Chris Rodriguez Jr. A lot of juniors on that team.
Right.
And Scary Terry gets him a couple of touchdowns. Zach Ertz, tight end, get you a touchdown. Everything was just obviously clicking for the Washington Commanders, and a game that I think that they truly needed. Because obviously they're not the leaders of their division anymore, so now they're going to be in that fight along with us to even make the playoffs. Since it's such a tight conference. With Minnesota sitting at 5, Green Bay sitting at 6, and you're literally just a game ahead of the rest of the competition sitting at 7. So obviously that light came on for the Washington Commanders. Don't play with my food. Let's go out and just get a win and move on to the very next football game, and let's control our own fate to at least make the playoffs. So it was a great game, man. It was a great game. The Tennessee Titans are what they are. I was bullish on them before the season started. I thought we'll see a lot more from Will Levis. A lot of growth within that football team, but obviously they're just not heading in the right direction at this moment. You see a couple of bright spots here and there, but obviously you know that they're a bunch of pieces away from being relevant, even in their own division. That's sad because their division is not good at all.
That's another one I'm curious about being Tennessee is if they still believe in Will Levis and if they're going to try to move on from him this offseason. So that's another one, but who knows?
You think so?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I'm curious about it. I really don't know.
Yeah. That's another topic of conversation right there.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to move on over to their division rivals. The Tennessee division rivals are the Houston Texans and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Boy, was that a tough game to watch. Obviously, the starting quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, in the second quarter got literally knocked out of the football game. And obviously, went into concussion protocol, and Mac Jones had to come in and step in and actually make it somewhat of a battle coming towards the end of the football game. But Houston Texans showed some poise and won it outright, 23-20. Man, what do you have on this football game?
You remember before all the the concussion stuff came out on the, I guess it was the Monday night show on ESPN. They had that segment Jacked Up. And they would show all the biggest, best hits of the week.
Yeah.
They'd show and they'd be like, he got jacked up. That's what happened to Trevor Lawrence today. And the funny thing, in all seriousness, we hope he's well. Format Podcast sends well wishes to Trevor Lawrence. We don't want anything to, be permanently wrong with him. But it is a physical game, and it's a violent game.
Correct.
And he gave himself up and he slid. But I honestly didn't think that hit was that egregious as some people are making it out to be. Yeah, he gave himself up. Yeah, it was bang, bang. It was a little late, but I don't think it was that egregious. It was just, it was a big hit. And unfortunately, we're going to have big hits in the game of football where you have very large men, who can run very fast, crashing into, other large men. So appreciate you, Mike. But yeah, it's going to be that. I don't think it was that egregious, but as you saw, that led to a brawl, which tells you how Trevor Lawrence's teammates feel about him, right? Because they immediately jumped in there. It's like, what the hell are you doing? So Azeez Al-Shahir, he obviously got ejected, and we'll wait to see if there's a suspension. I'm seeing some people on Twitter talking about he should be suspended for the year. I'm like, shut the hell up, man.
For the year, that's crazy.
Football, just turn football off.
Yeah, right. That's crazy.
Like, come on, man.
That's crazy. Even though, like I said, when you look at the hit, right?
Mm-hmm.
In a sense, you see Trevor Lawrence. I saw him give himself up late, right? As he's sliding. So here is already gunning for him. Right. So at this point, as a defensive player, what am I supposed to do? Was it his helmet that hit him? No. Was it his shoulder pad that hit him? No. It was his forearm. So he's like, I got to stop myself somehow. What I'm going to do, put my hands in his face. Either way, he was going to hit Trevor Lawrence. Right. Yeah. And I think the impact of the ground and the way he hit him with his forearm is what caused the knockout. I don't think it was the actual blow. It was the blow on top of the impact of Trevor Lawrence banging his head against the ground, which caused them to go into that fencing position and seize up. But to suspend him for the year, that's egregious. I mean, even though there's other plays where Shahir is obviously, he punches players, he gets into fights all the time. Physical guy. It's football, man. It's the contact sport. Right. Like at this point,
nonsense. Then every offensive and defensive lineman should be arrested for assault on every play.
Correct.
Because that's what they're doing. They literally fight
for assault. It's crazy work.
It's nonsense. Yeah. Like if people who think that way don't want to watch football, don't watch football. That's fine. Don't watch it. Yeah.
Like, was it a hit? Yes. Was it late? Yes. It is deserve a flag.
Suspended for knocking that guy out. Well, that's the whole goal.
Darvin Ham should be knocked up. Not Darvin Ham. Jesus, look at me going to NBA real quick.
It happens.
What's his name? Buffalo Bills. It's losing my brain. The one that literally died on the football field and came back.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Damar Hamlin. Jesus, Damar Hamlin. He should be arrested. Didn't he knock out Tua on accident?
He sure did.
He knocked out Tua, right? That's stupid, man. To be arrested for assault when it wasn't. Now, if he would have led with his crown of his helmet and literally knocked him out, absolutely suspended.
That would have been a little different,
right? That's different. But it's his hand. It's his forearm. What am I supposed to do? I can't stop. We can't stop on a dime as defensive players running full speed at somebody.
There's this thing called physics, right? Sir Isaac Newton put the laws of motion. He put those out 500 years ago, man. Like physics is a real thing.
Yeah. Now, if he was to show that he's giving himself up, Trevor never showed he was giving himself up. He's still running. So at this point, he drops his knee. Shahir's already in the air. He's like, "Oh, I'm coming after him."
Well, I guess they're going to say he launched himself into the opponent. But, a body in motion stays in motion unless acted on by an external force. That's the laws of physics. Like, this is what I don't understand. Like, with the whole, if you sack a quarterback and your body weight falls on him, they throw a foul, a penalty. And I'm like,
the quarterback,
what are you supposed to do? Like, you're running full speed. You're tackling the guy, taking him down. How can you, are you supposed to do some Spider-Man stuff or some Superman Are you supposed to hold him up so that he doesn't fall? Are you supposed to
give him a pillow,
fly out of there so you don't? I don't know, man.
Supposed to give him a pillow, give him a blanket, right? Read him a book, read him a bedtime story.
Okay, all right.
And at that point, it'll be a clean sack, right? Okay, no flag. You'll probably get a flag because you didn't give him no milk.
Milk and cookies.
I'm getting a flag. You ain't give him no milk.
You're right.
So you're right. Get a flag. I'm roughing the passer. You didn't give him the milk and cookies.
Yeah.
Right.
And we understand the whole thing with this because at the end of the day, it's about money, right? The league doesn't want to get sued going forward. The league also doesn't want suburban moms who see this violence to say that their sons can't play football.
We should do a segment on that one day. These
let's hold
videos are
off and
getting
do that.
ridiculous.
Yeah, let's hold off and let's do that. But to your point, what's up, Laker Nation? Good to see you, my brother. Good to see you. Laker Nation says this is an embarrassing weekend. I'm done with football. It might be this. This might be what's upsetting Laker Nation. Anyway, but
You're a USC fan?
Yeah, he's a USC guy. But in all seriousness, though, CJ Stroud had a decent game today. Clearly, this season has been a lot tougher for him than last season was. But I mean, that's to be expected, right? Defensive coordinators get paid too. They watch tape too. So, but again, Houston is still leading that division. And they likely will finish as the division winner. They'll get into the playoffs, and we'll see what they do.
No, great win. Great win by the Texans. And so I'm just so excited to see Nico Collins back because obviously with Nico Collins in that lineup, CJ Stroud walks around with a different level of confidence.
I agree.
I think that's his guy. Like when you lose your guy as a quarterback, it's tough, man, because you're like, oh man, now I got to figure out what's my go-to, right? For some quarterbacks, it's your tight ends. It's your running back dropping off to the flats or something like that. But for CJ Stroud, it's Nico Collins. He will come in and start a game. He's going to throw the first pass to Nico Collins, right? Just to see where he's at. So, but other than that, great win for the Texans. We're going to move on over to the Chargers upsetting my freaking Falcons ever since Bruce Hope.
Oh my gosh.
Bruce Hope made the decision to root for the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons are now 0-3.
Yo, I didn't believe in them. You told me they were legit, and they kept winning, so I believed what you said. I picked them one time, and look.
Just don't believe. From here on out, don't believe anything I say. Right? Don't believe anything I say, man. Don't believe it because obviously
that's crazy, right?
It's went ugly. They were 6-3. Now they're currently 6-6. Yes, they're currently still in the lead of their division, but right now they're currently tied with Tampa. Obviously, they hold the tiebreaker against Tampa when they beat them twice. But Kirk Cousins just looked awful. 0 touchdowns, 4 picks. Oh man, it was just ugly. So they had everything going in the run game, but just couldn't.
Do you think that we may be seeing Michael Penix Jr. sooner than we thought?
At this point, since your pick, yeah.
Oh, since my pick.
I would say if Michael Penix starts a game this year, I would thank you for it.
Hey, Penix is real deal, man.
I'm gonna thank you for it. I'm like, hey, Bruce Hope is the reason why Kirk Cousins is getting benched for Michael Penix. He's the reason. Good or bad. I mean, it is what it is, right? But no, man, all seriousness, Atlanta Falcons are not playing well. They've just lost 3 straight games. And now they're in jeopardy of losing their spot up in the division. And obviously they don't want to be in that turmoil of what's left behind that division. Obviously, like I said earlier, the Washington Commanders are currently sitting at 7th, and they hold the last playoff spot at the moment, and they have 8 wins. Falcons, you only got 6. So obviously, if you lose the next game, you're definitely going to be in a situation to where you're possibly not going to be able to make the playoffs. So they got to hit the ground running. But the Chargers, they played one heck of a game. They kept it interesting the whole way. Not much on the ground. That's what shocked me in this football game.
Yes.
Yeah, that shocked me. And obviously, Jim Harbaugh, he's one of those run the football, stop the run type of guys.
Yeah, man.
And 17 carries for 56 yards. That just doesn't sound like Jim's offense that he likes to run. But you got anything else on this game?
What? Yeah, I'll just say real quick, the defense getting those 4 picks off Kirk Cousins, it's going to help a lot when you are not able to get into your traditional offensive style, but you keep getting extra possessions. That's going to be enough to help you. And I think that was the difference. You can't, in the NFL, man, teams in opposition is too good. You cannot you can't give guys extra possessions like that. You just can't.
No, obviously that just put him in a bad situation throughout the entirety of the football game. It was just ugly, then it got uglier, then it got ugliest, if ugliest was a word to even make up. But that was the case. But the Chargers are now 8-4. I believe they are second in their division behind the Kansas City Chiefs as they currently stand. They hold the 5th spot in the AFC when it comes to the playoffs at 8-4.
Good team. It's a good team.
Oh yeah,
that's a good team.
Yeah, definitely.
We were talking earlier about culture change.
Jim.
There you go.
That's Jim. That's definitely Jim. All right. But moving on over, we're going to go into it's my screen's loading, guys. Bear with me. All right.
What
The
game are
Colts.
you?
The
Okay.
Colts edge out the New England Patriots in the final drive of the game. And when Anthony Richardson put his head down and does what he does and ran the football into the end zone, and they come away with a last-second win against the New England Patriots. Drake May obviously had a decent game, 24 for 30, so obviously some good percentage there. One touchdown, one pick, and he obviously got some. I mean, well, he clearly got something done on the ground. New England ran for 200 yards.
200
on the ground, man. That's actually should be something that you
it's
typically win football games with. But
Yes.
Anthony Richardson got it done, man. What do you think about this football game?
So I actually picked the Patriots in this one because I'm something of a believer in Drake May, and I believe that as he gets better coaching and as he's able to get some more weapons, I think he's going to be good. He's showing signs, man. I think he's going to be a-okay.
Yeah.
Like what I saw from Jonathan Taylor, almost 100 yards on the ground here. So, that's one of my favorite guys. Go Badgers. Been a big fan of his since college, and so love Jonathan Taylor. Felt good to see him have a good game between he and Anthony Richardson. 144 rushing yards today, so that's cool. But Anthony Richardson, he's still a very young quarterback in the league. Those 2 turnovers, they hurt, but again, he was able to pull it off. The Colts were able to pull it off. So good win, competitive game between 2 teams that aren't great. I had picked the Patriots, so I was hoping they were going to pull that out. But good win.
You were 10 seconds away from being right.
I know, right?
No. You were 10 seconds away.
Yeah, man.
But no, obviously it was a great game. I wouldn't say both teams got nothing to play for, but Indianapolis Colts are still in the playoff hunt. As it currently stands, they're second in their entire division. They're 1 game back in the AFC standings behind the Denver Broncos with 1 win. So obviously they got something to fight for, and that's what you saw last night. Today when Anthony Richardson decided, like, hey, look, I know I got benched early in the season. I know it's not looking like I should be the starting quarterback, but I'm gonna go and get us this win off, with my shoulders, literally. And he put his head down and, went and got his team to win against the New England Patriots team, who are obviously looking at the future. Obviously, I think they see something great in Drake May. You see it, I see it, and I think the Patriots see it as well. Drake May is going to be one of those guys, one of those next up-and-coming quarterbacks that should be pretty good when you start putting the pieces around him, because obviously, he doesn't have any pieces at all when you look at his roster. But great game by the Colts, and good running game by Jonathan Taylor and them Badgers.
Yep, there you go.
Right. We're going to move on over to the team that disappointed me the most today. The Arizona Cardinals had one job, just one job.
Just one.
Beat the Minnesota Vikings when you have the lead. You had a 97 or 92% chance of winning this football game in the fourth quarter, and you completely blow it. Kyler Murray throws 2 picks. And Sam Darnold comes out of this pumpkin-like shell and, plays a great second half to put his team in position to win the game outright 23-22. What do you think about this football game, brother?
I think I picked the Vikings here, not because I'm a huge fan, but just because, unfortunately, man, it seems like the Cardinals just don't know how to win. And I think they're a relatively young team, so that's understandable. Young team, young head coach. They don't have any idea how to win because one week they show you what they can be, and then the next week they just kind of, fade into oblivion. I don't know. And so they really haven't been able to play with any level of consistency all season. And Kyler Murray had what would have been a pretty solid game, man. But like you mentioned, the 2 picks, they'll get you. They'll
get you every time. I think he had a fumble too. Did he fumble? No, he recovered it. Yeah, he did fumble it, but he recovered it. But yeah, Brian Flores and that defense, I like. It's not that serious as comment. Brian Flores is legit a difference maker for this Minnesota team. Yeah. They're finding ways to get it done defensively, man. Clearly, that was a game that they should have lost, in my opinion. But when you buckle up and you tighten up your belt buckle, you go out there and you have yourself. Then you tell your defense, "Hey, go out there and get the ball back." Right? Go out there and get the ball back and put us back in that position to make a game-winning drive. And that's what they did, because obviously you look at the numbers. I mean, Minnesota's running game was poo-putt, 15 carries, 68 yards. It was nothing there, right? Arizona wrestling.
Like
They had 31 poo putt. It was poo putt, man.
Yeah.
Arizona, they had 31 carries, 154. So you go back and you look at the numbers, you're like, wait a minute. I mean, obviously, one team just ran the ball as much, as well as they could. The other team couldn't. Well, this team should have won a football game. No, you go back, you look at the turnovers, and that's the reason why you lost the football game. So, it's huge for them, man. But shout out Minnesota. They're currently 10-2. Cardinals are currently sitting at 6-6. They are, I believe, they are tied for 8th in the conference at 6-6, right along with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So obviously, they got something to play for. They just wasn't playing hard enough to try to make themselves relevant. And inside
and they
that
can
division,
still win their division. They can still win that AFC West, which would take care of that outright.
I was just going to that. They could have just kept the title if they would have won this football game. I believe they hold the tiebreaker against the Seattle Seahawks.
I think you're right. You're right. Yeah, great point.
Absolutely. All right, so moving on over. We're going to talk about how the Steelers. Boy. Did Russell Wilson have himself a game?
Did he have a day? Did he have
a day?
When he threw that pick six early, I thought he was going to stink it up, and then he went nuts.
Bonkers.
So before I give Russell Wilson his flowers, because he certainly deserves them, I feel so bad for Joe Burrow, man. I feel so bad. This dude is doing everything he can do, and his defense is giving him nothing.
44. 44. 44.
Yeah, it's tough.
When Joe Burrow walks to that sideline, he goes, "Hey, look, I scored.
Yeah,
help me.
Please help me. Right?
Help me.
Help me.
Help
right.
me. Right?
And when they don't help him, he grabs Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and says, "All right, boys, it's on us.
Get another one.
Good.
Goes get another one." Right? Like, I mean, you look at Joe Burrow, 309 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a pick. Obviously, I mean, the pick, it kind of just stinks up the game. I mean,
2 lost fumbles too. Great point, Edward Jackson. 2 lost fumbles. So, yeah, we got to.
But it's like, Jesus Christ. Like, I still gave you 38 points.
Yeah.
Defense, do something.
Help I'm doing me, the please.
Best I can, right? I can't get the run game going because I'm obviously chasing down the Pittsburgh Steelers. We were down early. So now I got to fight back. Right. So we can't get a run game going. So Chase Brown can't do much. Obviously, he still had a great day with 12 carries, 70 yards, but the one touch was a 40-yard gain. But I'm putting up numbers, right? What do you want me to do? Yeah. Russell Wilson goes back and like, don't worry, big fella. I'm gonna show you what it's like to put up numbers, and my defense actually gets a stop or two, a turnover or two to get us the football game. Yeah, obviously, man,
he looked great today, man. 4-14. Yeah, he lit it up. He lit it up.
4-14, 3 touchdowns and a pick. He messed up a lot of folks' brackets in their not fantasy leagues, in their fan duels with the 3 rushing yards. But Russell Wilson came to play, man. Every situation we saw that Seattle Seahawk Russell Wilson. That's what I saw. Yeah. If you look at that game, that was Seattle Seahawk Russ. That was I got the Legion of Boom back there. Let's go ahead and go win this football game. And he put it on the back. He put it on the team's back, and 44 points. That's what he got done.
That's right. Edward Jackson. We're not giving him a pass. We are understanding the conditions under which this man has to work. I think that's 2 different things.
Do yourself a favor, Edward. Go back and just look at every game and what Joe Burrow's numbers look like. Just look at the numbers, right? Then go back and look at the games. So when he leaves the field, it's like, okay, cool. I got us the lead. I lost it again. Okay. I'm going to go back and I'm going to get the lead again.
Right.
Okay. Lost it again.
Please help
I'm going to go back and get the lead again.
Yeah.
Help me. Help me out. Right. 38 points, man. You typically win those football games, but when the other team puts up 44, you just look at your defense and go, what the hell, man?
What the hell? Yeah. It's not that serious. Tomlin's, he's not top 10. He's top 5. He may be higher than that.
Top 3.
Yeah. Tomlin is that dude, man. I hate to say it as a Raven, but Tomlin is that guy. He's legit.
He is 18 straight seasons without a losing season.
Never.
He has never had a losing season as a head coach. Never. Never. He's had 4 starting quarterbacks.
Sounds
I think
about
the
right.
number's about 4 or 5
Yeah.
starting quarterbacks since
Mm-hmm.
Big Ben was there, and
That's
he's
right.
literally never had a losing season. That's
Mm-hmm.
what you call coaching. That's what you call
That's coaching.
coaching. A
That's coaching.
culture,
Culture.
a front office that
Yeah,
you
man.
run that house,
Mm-hmm.
right? If you go
Yeah.
if you go over another man's house, and you can tell who's running the house, like how the kids act. The wife
Mm-hmm.
is doing what she's doing. When people
Mm-hmm.
coming in the house, like you could tell who runs that house. When you go to
Mm-hmm.
Pittsburgh, Mike Tomlin runs that
You know.
house.
You know.
He runs that house, man. So,
Mm-hmm.
shout out to Pittsburgh Steelers. They're 9-3. Currently, they're sitting at the top of their division. We're going to get to who's behind them in just a second. And obviously, the Cincinnati Bengals are just looking at defeat for the season. With Joe
Yeah.
Burrow putting up the numbers that he
Yeah.
is, I'm pretty sure if you go back and you take the record out of it, Joe Burrow probably is going to be winning the MVP race.
In
They'll
the
probably
thick
been in
of
the
the
lead.
discussion. Yeah.
They'll
Yeah.
probably been in the lead if you don't
That's
look
right.
at the record.
That's right.
But yeah, shout out Jay, but Russell Wilson, man, he turned back the hands of time.
He did.
All right, we're gonna go into the Rams and Saints. All right,
Mm-hmm.
the Rams pull off a win against the New Orleans Saints, 21-14, to go 6-6, and once again that tough division in the NFC West, and the New Orleans Saints fall again as they're only 2 games behind in NFC South standings. Man, what do you think about that game?
I think the answer is simple. Kyron the Siren, go Irish.
Go Irish!
No, man, 15 for 104. Really good game for him today. In total, Los Angeles rushes the ball 29 times for $156. It's the formula. It is the formula. That said, New Orleans did a great job as well. Kamara 23 times for 112, 31 for 143. Derek Carr, solid game. Matthew Stafford. Those guys pretty much played each other to a standstill, right? But
yeah,
I don't know. I honestly didn't see too much of this game, so I'm not sure where it went, off the rails for the Saints, because neither team had any turnovers. I don't know if it was just they ran out of time. Neither team had any turnovers. The numbers are almost identical. It's one of those really weird games where everything kind of played out along the same line, and just one team was able to get out of there with the win, man. So I'm gonna let you take this.
No. The Saints, when the Rams went up 21-14, the Saints actually had an opportunity to score and tie it. They went for it on 4th and 2 on the goal line. And the Rams came up with a big defensive play. It obviously got the turnover on downs. That's why the game didn't end up tied or going into overtime. And then Kyron the Siren at that point just ran the clock out.
Yeah, there you go.
So go Irish, man. Go Irish. Kyron
the
Siren, already in my fantasy league, man. Doing me justice. Doing me justice in my fantasy league. But the numbers, man, they looked identical. Matt Stafford, 183. Derek Carr, 184. Rushing yards game, 156 for the Rams, 143 for the New Orleans Saints. So it was actually a pretty tight game. It was actually pretty well matched. But that was the outcome. That was the outcome of it.
There you go.
All right. We're going to go on over. Notice I'm saving the best for last. We're going to go to the Tampa Bay Bucks.
I see what you're doing.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers go into overtime, cause a fumble to Chuba Hubbard, and beat the Carolina Panthers and Bryce Young 26-23 in one of Bryce Young's better football games in his NFL career. Yeah. What do you think about that one?
So let me say this, man. I've been hard on Bryce Young. I said I would not have drafted a number 1 overall, and I still wouldn't draft a number 1 overall. You all right?
Oh no, man. Going hard for man. That's kind of crazy, but go ahead.
No diddy. No, but I've been very critical of him since he's been in the league. I didn't believe in him, and I still don't. But that said, since he got benched and came back, it's like the competitive fire kicked in, and he's playing a lot better football. Outplayed Baker today. I got to be honest.
Yeah, he did.
Outplayed my man Baker, touchdown maker. But I think the difference was probably Tampa Bay being able to run the ball the way they did to overcome Baker's 2 interceptions. Bucky Irving, $152. I don't know if that's a career high. I think it is. Overall, the team ran for 236. So again, we always talk about that'll get it done, right? But man, Bryce Young, he really is playing better. I'm still not a believer, but he's playing better to the point that the Panthers reportedly now are not so sure about taking a quarterback in the draft because they think they like what they're seeing from him in terms of his development. So, good for him, man. Shout outs to that young man for lifting his head up and continuing to put in the work to improve and become the type of player that he believes he can be. So shout outs to that young man. And that's all I got. I did pick the Bucks. I thought they were going to win this game. Kind of disappointed in the way that Baker played, but a win is a win. And, they are still fighting to try and get this division and sneak into the playoffs. So there you go.
They are. They are in the thick of things. Like I said, they're tied with the Atlanta Falcons at this moment. This is one of those divisional rivalry games, right? I mean, obviously in divisional, you can't take them lightly because they know everything about you. They play you twice a year, every season, no matter what the circumstances are. But, Bryce Young, from being benched early in the season for the Red Rifle and then coming back, he's been playing so much better.
He really has.
Benching, right? It
really
lit, like you said, it lit a whole nother fire under him. He's playing a lot more competitive, and you can see him reading the pocket. He's scrambling, like when he doesn't see anything down the field, he's taking off and he's trying to run. He's going to get a first down here or there, extending out the play, scrambling a little bit, taking a little bit more chances down the football field. And it looked good, man. Obviously, you want to see a game like that in which he won, but the Chuba Herbert fumble kind of just ruined his chances of going down there and winning the football game. And obviously the Bucks got the football back in a good field position and a couple of plays here or there, and they scored the game with a field goal. But great game by Bryce Young. Proud of the kid. I hope to see more. Like I said, I like that. What you said, that the Carolina Panthers are no longer looking at a quarterback because give the kid time. You just drafted him last year, right? Obviously, I think he went too high. Of course, the nation thinks he went too high. But, a quarterback like that, just give him a little bit of time, a little nurturing, give him a couple of weapons, and, you go back and you see what you can do with him.
Right.
So, but good game. Touchdown maker, Baker, touchdown maker, and Bucky Irvin. They got it done.
Interception maker today, too.
Interception maker. I think he lost the fumble, too, didn't he? No, he fumbled it twice. He didn't lose it, though.
There you go.
Yeah, he fumbled it twice. So, fumbled it twice, 2 picks. Yeah, it just wasn't a game. I mean, and the thing about Baker, I like the post-game interview. He went and said, we play like crap, and I kept turning over the football. The key word, I. He was I play like crap. I
love that.
Turn over the football.
Love that.
Right? Taking that ownership. Your locker room looks at that. Like, that's what I'm talking about.
We know there's guys that are a lot better historically than him that will not do that.
That will not do that, Aaron Rodgers.
Shall remain nameless. Or maybe not.
Don't worry about it. No, I'll name it. Yeah, he's not my teammate no more. But no, that's it on that game. We're gonna move on over into the final one. Let me make sure. I think I got all the games right. That was every single game on the radar. All right.
Yeah, that was every game. Well, good night, everybody.
We're not gonna let him get away with this one, chat. We're not gonna let him get away with this one.
No.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah.
Going to Baltimore.
That's right.
And leave Baltimore.
That's right.
With the W.
That's right.
24-19. Saquon Barkley makes another dab at the MVP race. Takes over. I think he still has the rushing title. As the opposing team's running back Derrick Henry was the running mate candidate for the rushing title, but obviously Saquon comes out the victor.
Still very close.
Extremely close. But Saquon Barkley comes out the victor. And the Eagles pull out a win 24-19, even though it shouldn't have been that close. It was actually 24-12. But obviously the last second touchdown that, Baltimore got. Justin Tucker, man, don't know what to say much about him. He's obviously going through something mentally. Two missed field goal kicks, missed extra point that, kept you behind the 8 ball early in the football game.
Right.
And then we just saw a lot of, it's your football team, bro. Go before I start going ham.
So if you look at the numbers, like they don't look terrible. No, Eagles brother 92. I don't think that Barkley is the MVP. I think he is deserving of it. I don't think he's going to get it. He's going to have to break Eric Dickerson's record to get it, right? He's a running back, not a quarterback. I think that right now, believe it or not, Josh Allen is in the lead for the MVP. And I know a lot of people are not going to like that, but I think he is. All right. So Whatever Jackson's saying, I'll get back to the Ravens in a minute. He's still dramatized from what happened with Kansas City when he was being disrespectful. Who's he? Oh, Tucker? Is that who? Tucker?
I don't know. When was Tucker disrespectful
Probably.
to Kansas City?
Because I know Harrison Butker, man. He's killing this year now. He don't miss.
Well,
but anyway,
hurt.
Is he Butker?
Yeah, he's been out for like the last 2 or 3 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Justin Tucker, coming into this season, the most accurate kicker in NFL history. He leads the league in missed kicks now. I think he's got like 10 on the year. This year he missed, not this year, today, he missed an extra point and 2 field goals. He hits those, obviously, the Ravens win this game, right? It would have been tough regardless, but the Ravens would have won this game ugly had he made those kicks. Okay, so there's that. Lamar Jackson played a very solid game. Not crazy, but very solid. Made some amazing throws. Mark Andrews made some amazing catches.
Correct.
Derrick Henry, solid game. I still think, even though, so this is the funny thing, right? You've heard me complaining time and again that Todd Monken is not giving Derrick Henry the ball enough. But when you look, he's like tied for second in the league in carries, but he still needs more. You know what I'm saying? Like, they need you when you got that
gotta
guy,
feed him.
Gotta horse him. Yeah, you have to. And so that's a situation where 19 carries today, 82 yards. Not a bad day, right? But now you get up over that 20 mark, and eventually he's going to break one. Like, history proves that. So you got to give it to him and until he breaks one. Meanwhile, Saquon Barkley on the other side, 23 carries, 107 yards, and a touchdown. So just really good overall. A.J. Brown, good job. Seemed like every time I looked up, A.J. Brown was he was making a catch to extend the drive on third down. It's like, come on, man. Jalen Hurts, the numbers weren't crazy, but guess what? I don't think Jalen Hurts cares because he got out of there against a quality opponent with a win. Going into this game, Lamar Jackson was 23-1 in his career against the NFC. He's now 23-2, which is still an insane ratio, right? But
absolutely.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I think every time the Ravens get into these games, Todd Monken tends to get away from Raven football.
Okay, there you go. Now you're getting to where I want to go. Go ahead.
No, I mean, just, you saw me kind of get into it when I was saying earlier, Derrick Henry needs more carries. And I get it. Maybe they're trying to save something for the postseason, but you got to get there. And you got to get there playing the type of football at a high level that you expect to play going forward. And you got to hopefully give yourself an opportunity, maybe at least host a home game. And you don't necessarily want it to be a wild card, but it looks like at this point, the bye's not coming because Pittsburgh is probably going to win the division. Speaking of Pittsburgh, Baltimore's got another tough one. They got Pittsburgh this week. So it's like, what the hell are we going to do? So just watching this thing, I think, and don't get me wrong, it probably sounds like I'm not giving credit due to the Eagles. They're an outstanding football team. They play great defense. Clearly, they can run it and they can throw it, and they can win ugly or they can win, pretty. But that's a very good football team to go into the bank and win today. But again, man, I can't blame it all on Todd Monken, but he needs to make a concerted effort to get Derrick Henry, especially in these big games. He's got to get Derrick Henry 25 carries. He has to. And I don't understand why he's so averse to that. But I mean, I don't know what else to say. BI, is that Brandon Ingram?
Yeah, Brandon Ingram just signed with Clutch Sports earlier today.
Okay, well, we'll talk about that another time. That's disappointing. Anyway, but yeah,
hey, it's disappointing.
It is. But
he's signed with Clutch Sports.
Okay, you're probably right. Let me look right now, Eagles, brother. I thought it was the Steelers up next. Let's see. Eagles, no, you're right. So it's the Giants after the bye. So the Giants would be a get-right game. Then they got the Steelers. Okay, so thank you for that correction, Eagles, brother. I appreciate you. Thank you for making sure I'm on point. So it's the Giants next up and then the Steelers. So at least Baltimore has an opportunity to get right before they step into the Lions, then, so to speak, against the Steelers. But yeah, man, Todd Monken got to get right, man. Go ahead.
All right. Listen, not a Ravens fan, right? Ravens supporter. I like Lamar Jackson. I like Dan Henry. What did I start off the season saying? You got Thunder. You got what?
And Lightning.
You got Thunder and Lightning. Why am I not utilizing Thunder and Lightning the way I'm supposed to be doing? I hear you saving them for the playoffs. You got to make it, right? You're currently 6th in the conference. You could possibly fall out of the playoffs playing the way you're playing right now.
That's right.
This was one of those games where you seize control and you maintain that momentum going into the Steelers game. I don't want to have to beat the Giants to gain momentum. We know you can beat the Giants. You're better than the Giants.
Right.
Everybody's better than the Giants.
That's right. The Cowboys beat the damn Giants.
The Cowboys just beat the Giants with a backup quarterback, right?
Yeah, that's right.
We don't need that. We know that 2-time, could have been possibly 3-time MVP going into the season is going to beat the Giants. You need to beat the Eagles. The Eagles game is the one that you wanted to win, right? And you had that opportunity. Yes, granted, Justin Tucker missed a couple of kicks, but that's not the reason you lost, right? You go back and you look at the way you're playing. Saquon Barkley and Derrick Henry should be matching blow for blow on a carry ratio. I shouldn't have Derrick Henry in my lineup and he's 4 carries behind Saquon Barkley. Shouldn't, right? Derrick Henry needs to be lathered up to go into that fourth quarter to dominate the fourth quarter.
That's right.
You can't just stop running the football and making Lamar Jackson play hero ball.
Yeah, which he's capable of doing.
He's capable of
doing it, but he shouldn't have to do that. That's not the way to go about it.
Let's go to our strengths right now, right? Obviously, okay, we're not, the deep ball isn't going. All right, obviously, Lamar's throwing it in the bucket and the catches aren't going. Okay, let's get back to the run game. What are we strong at? We got 2 of the best runners of the football in the NFL, Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, Thunder and Lightning. I shouldn't have to go through this, Todd. Run the football. I shouldn't be seeing plays to where we're on first down, we're throwing a deep route to Rashad Bateman. Okay. Second down, or we're throwing another deep route to Zay Flowers. Third down, we're throwing a screen. What are we doing? What are we doing? Why did Derrick Henry not touch the football that entire drive? Why?
To me, he always seems like
run the football.
Trying to get creative, or he's trying to be pretty, or he's trying to look like a smart. He need to just stop it. Keep it simple.
Look smart because you win a Super Bowl. That's how you look smart. That's the only way you look smart. You don't look smart by being cute, right? That's what the Kansas City. What's his name? Andy Reid. That's Andy Reid's job. That's what Andy Reid's been doing. He can make stuff look cute and win Super Bowls at the same time. Todd, you got to get to the Super Bowl first, but stick to your strength, my guy. Run the football. Run the football. I don't need to be seeing a game where Derrick Henry has less than 20 carries at all, right? And it's not like they were stopping him, because Derrick Henry, 19 carries, 82 yards, 4.3 yards a carry. You run him 3 times, that's a first down. That's just basic logic, right? Make him run the football, right? Play action. What we saw a lot with Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley was that, okay, cool. All right, Saquon Barkley, couple of runs here, quarterback draw. Jalen Hurts taking off with the football.
Right.
Where's Lamar? Where's that package for Lamar? Right, quarterback draw.
We supposed to play
exactly. They were doing what you need to be doing on that side of the football, not throwing on first and second and third down, and then all of a sudden now we want to do a little soft screen pass to Justice Hill and thinking that's supposed to work. No, man, it's going to stunt the drives, but. That's my take on the Baltimore Ravens. Philadelphia Eagles, they played one hell of a football game. Saquon Barkley.
It's a good football team, man.
That kid is what Philly needed. That one kid is what Philly needed. New York, like I said, is still shooting themselves in the foot, face, arm, leg, and gut. About that man walk to a divisional rival. And shout out to the defense as well. Zach Bond. Cooper DeJean, that tackle on Derrick Henry.
Okay.
That
beautiful, perfect form tackle, right?
Textbook, wrap him up, get him up off the ground, and put him into the dirt. Right? And I was like, even Derrick Henry got up like, damn.
Put his shoulder right in him. It was a beautiful form.
Was that a rookie? The rookie did that, right? So
rookie from Iowa, that's right.
Rookie from Iowa, man. So shout out to the Philadelphia Eagles defense, man. They're obviously, I think this is their 8th straight win. They've obviously seized control of the NFC East. Right now they're just one game behind the Detroit Lions, and it's looking like it's definitely looking like it's going to go through the Lions and the Eagles and the NFC, which is, hard for me to say as a Green Bay Packer because I don't want it to go that way. But obviously, it is what it is. We got to play the way the football goes.
Right. You still got a chance to change that. So,
yeah, we got a possibility. We got to go and beat Detroit.
That's right.
They got to come to Lambeau.
That's right. That's right.
Got to make that happen. But
yeah, man.
it is a great win. But if you're the Baltimore Ravens, man, you got to fix it. And you got to fix it now. You're one game ahead of being in 7th place, 2 games ahead of being out of the playoffs. Come on now, you got to go against Pittsburgh again. Now, granted, I got you winning this football game because what did I say earlier? Pittsburgh's going to win the first one.
Right.
The Ravens going to win the second one.
Right.
Now you got to win the second one, right? It's not even okay. We can make ends meet. You have to win that football game now.
Yeah.
You're in make it break it mode, man. And that's not something you want to say with the way you have Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson at the quarterback and running back position.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And on a less important front, I think that an MVP for Lamar Jackson it's not going to happen this year.
And I don't think he cares.
Losses, man. No, I don't think he does either.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's fine with me. No, he wants to win, and that's beautiful.
He's like, I got 2 MVPs. I'm good. I'm trying to beat the man that sits on the top of the pedestal.
That's right.
Patrick Mahomes. Right now, there's other men that's in front of me. Russell Wilson's in front of me. I got Russell Wilson in front of me. I got Josh Allen looking like who's going to win the MVP in front of me. I got to go get those guys because right now it's playing like I'm going to have to come to their house, and that's not what I want to do. I want to be in Baltimore when the playoff starts. I'm not trying to be in Buffalo. I'm not trying to be in Pittsburgh, right? Because those are games that I could possibly lose. Granted, you beat the Buffalo Bills early in the season, but the way you're playing and the way they're clicking, you're catching them at a hot time now. So now they're hot. You're still trying to figure it out. This is not the time to be doing it, man. So
not at all.
That's what I got on them, man.
Nah, you're
not a fan, but I'm a supporter.
No argument here, man.
They got to get it done. I wish G was here. I need to hear G on this one. Granted, the show will go to about 2.5 hours.
I know.
But yeah, man. But that is all we got, guys. That is the Eagles and Ravens. They wrap up the entire week 13. This is week 13, right?
Yeah, well, we got tomorrow night. We got Monday night.
Correct. Tomorrow night wraps up week 13. That will be the Browns and the Broncos. They're going to be playing tomorrow night at 8:15. And we get to see Bo Nix to see if he can make another stab at the rookie of the year conversation.
Yeah.
This will be a good game for him.
I agree.
Yep. That's all I got, man.
Yeah.
The bye week came at a perfect time.
Eat a W tomorrow night, right?
Oh, that boy said, call Jeff Bezos, man. We ordered some W's off of Amazon.
Ordered some W's on Amazon. They'll be there before I get home.
You gotta love that kid, man. Definitely excited to watch him.
He's got excitement for life, man. That's beautiful.
Hey, man. Edward Jackson said they got room on the black and yellow couch.
I'm not
ignoring it. Moving on. Got it.
Yeah,
Bruce number 2. The bye week came at a perfect time.
Yeah.
If you go back and if you go in the front office and slap Todd and be like, "Hey, yo, look, stop that BS, man. Stop it. Stop the BS.
Oh my goodness.
All right, win the football games. Do what we are going to do.
Yeah.
You don't have to. We're not saying that Derrick Henry needs 30 touches, right? That's he was getting that in Tennessee. You're seeing games where that man had 30, 32, 31, like he's in college or something.
But there are some games where he does need that, though.
Correct. I agree.
Games, he needs that. But
19, ain't it?
It's not
19 that's asinine, bro. That's working backwards.
Yeah.
That's obviously working backwards because now you can wear down that defensive front. And what happens when the defensive front is tired?
They can't chase Lamar.
They cannot catch him.
Right.
They cannot.
They can barely catch him when they're not tired. Furthermore, when they are. Yeah.
Man, look, you get Lamar in that fourth quarter, your defensive line got their hands on their hips. Oh, you got a problem.
That's right.
You have a major problem, right? So you got to get to that problem. Derrick Henry needs 25 touches per game at minimum, all times, no questions asked, man. Unless it's a blowout. If it's a blowout, then at that point you can rest Derrick Henry. But what's the point of resting somebody if you're not going to have the opportunity to perform at the certain spot that you're trying to get to? That's my take. Yep,
that's it.
But yeah, man, that's all we got.
We're gonna leave it right there, y'all. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Appreciate it. That's our Sunday night NFL wrap. And as we mentioned, we got the Monday night game tomorrow night, and we will see you guys on Wednesday. So y'all have a great one. Be safe, and we out. Peace.
Go Pack, go.